In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be discussing Crusher 21's last video titled I Beat Clash Royale Using Only Black People. So a lot of people watching probably know who Crusher is. He's actually one of the biggest Clash Royale content creators right now. He's blown up recently, especially because of his shorts, and a lot of his content is very edgy, which ends up getting a lot of attention, of course, but in my opinion, his last video, he went a little bit too far, and I'll be explaining the reasons why. So, I fully expect this video will get a lot of hate. I've kind of already prepared for that, because obviously he's one of the largest creators, and I know a lot of his fans and kind of the cult following he has is going to support him, but, you know, I'm fully prepared for that, and I decided I would still make the video anyway, because it's just, you know, giving my opinion, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So the first biggest reason, which is pretty obvious when you guys actually take a look at it, of why I think he went too far with creating the video, is this was actually the original thumbnail he had. Now, some people might argue and say, well, it's okay because he realized it was bad and he changed it as a result, but I think it's pretty clear when you look at this original thumbnail that he had, and you guys can see for yourself, he did actually have this thumbnail. This is just a screenshot someone took, but there's some applications you can use on YouTube to, you know, view the history of what someone did as their thumbnail before, and he actually had this as the thumbnail, which I think most people would agree, even fans of Crusher would probably agree with this, that this was way too far and, you know, pretty racist, which is why he changed it, because he probably knew that if he kept this up, he would have gotten canceled. But of course, we can still look back at it, or the people, you know, who took screenshots of this and early on saw this know this was the original thumbnail he had for the video. Now, with the thumbnail part out of the way, I wanted to talk a little bit more about stuff that's actually inside of the video that I think was a little bit too much. This is the stuff that might be a little controversial, stuff that people might have thought was fine. But like I said, the thumbnail, I think everyone can agree was too far. And then towards the end of the video, after showing this stuff, I'm going to show some of the comments on his channel. And then I made a tweet about this on Twitter too, just kind of showing you guys some other people's opinions about whether, you know, he went too far making this video or if it was justified and stuff along those lines.
So I want to go from 0 to 5,000 trophies only using this.
So you can see at the very start, he, you know, basically almost said the N-word. I mean, he was kind of saying it for short, but we kind of all know what was implied. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, this is what he decided to make his account name.
I like... Oh! Oh! 20 black men for £5, bro! Ah, let's buy these black men! I just bought them, I'm gonna send them straight to the field!
And of course, that's the next big thing. Now, a lot of his fans know that's one of the reasons right now why he's very popular. There's lots of memes going around created about that, about the whole, you know, how he's buying the black men for so-and-so pounds, but I think the, like, sending them to the fields part, I think that's the part that's too far in my opinion, and I think, in my eyes at least, that if your channel revolves around racism a lot, and that's your main factor of being funny, I think that that's just a little bit cringe. Well, a lot of people say that the content he makes is cringe, but I just think that having your channel, you know, the popularity of it revolve around, you know, racist comments, remarks like that, and, you know, sexist comments as well, but particularly we're focusing on this, I just think it's just not a good look. Alright, the next part of the video I wanted to show where I think he took it a little too far was he actually did what you would call blackface in this video as well.
And I like the Hog Rider so much, I wanted to become the Hog Rider. Hog Rider, arrows, final prediction! What's this? What's this? What's this? Arrows prediction, oh my god!
I made a tweet on Twitter that received 55 comments. I would say the vast majority of people agreed with me. About probably like 90% of the comments were on my side. I wanted to show one in particular because I just showed the blackface he did in the video. So I wanted to address this and give my opinion. You guys, of course, in the comments can let me know what you think. I agree with everything besides the mask. If a brown mask is no blackface, that's just weird, even though he's saying racist stuff in the video. I don't think wearing a brown mask is racist or blackface in any regards. I kind of like what Barry replied here. It always depends on the context, and I don't think that in this one it's appropriate. So the way I see it is if you're wearing a black mask or something for Halloween, I think that that would be fine, you know, if it's to go with your costume. But in the context of the video, because it's pretty clear there were other racist things being said, especially the thumbnail, which was changed, but that doesn't matter, that's what he originally had, I think it's pretty obvious that it had, a pretty racist intent to it, and it wasn't just, for fun, because of the other stuff in the video too. I definitely think it depends on the situation. I really like this reply over here from Zach, probably your best tweet of all time, at least my favorite. If he is that way privately, it would be bad, but producing content for kids centered around this is too much and crosses several lines. I would imagine parents have no idea their kids are watching this. And this is why also I'm making a video on this. Crusher's audience in particular, I think, is a lower age than other content creators in the Clash Royale community. And I think the fact that he's kind of encouraging this type of behavior, or kind of like showing them that it's okay and that it's funny to be racist or sexist in a lot of his videos and shorts. This video in particular is where he went way too far, but there were some other, kind of racist or sexist remarks on his other type of content. And I think the reason why people find that funny, or his audience, is because many of them are younger and maybe don't understand that it's not really okay. Let's be honest, I've always thought it was very weird that YouTube didn't take him down. Like, I'm surprised he managed to dodge YouTube and Supercell for this long. Someone's saying not really Supercell because he is in the creator program. And yeah, this is the other thing. He's never going to be a part of the creator program if he does this type of thing. So that's something he's going to miss out on. And he's not really going to be able to have respect from other larger creators. Or I was saying before, I said this in my Twitter video I was making on it, that if he ever applies to a job and, because of the blueprint that's often kept, of content creators or what you do online, he likely wouldn't get accepted because of these types of videos he's making. And they can actually still strike him down. Supercell does have the ability to do this. So if he keeps this up, goes down this rabbit hole of increasingly becoming more inappropriate in his videos, Supercell very, very well could take him down, and they have done that before, or at the very least, he could get permanently banned in-game. Obviously, as you'd expect in the comments, the vast majority of comments are supporting him. You see people like Glad, there's people like Crusher who makes these jokes that are funny instead of letting themselves be filtered by peer pressure from the masses. So tired of internet police trying to dictate what's allowed and isn't allowed, especially when it comes to online humor. Crusher's basically the guy who tries to get canceled but failed by his talented humor. Someone quoting what he said in the video, finding it funny. Well, I mean, and yeah, this is probably part of the reason why he's so popular, because, well, no other Clash Royale creator, talks about racist or sexist things in their video, or overall just tries not to be overly cringe. So it is working. Yes, of course, don't get me wrong, it's working, but there could be a cost that comes out of this. Maybe it will have consequences that just aren't known yet, like I've talked about before. And the other thing I'm going to show is people are having a really hard time defending Crusher. When Crusher gets hate on the comments, look at what his cult says. They can't really defend what he's doing. So yeah, as you can see, whenever someone hates and they're like, how can people enjoy his content when they're being racist and unfunny at the same time, and encouraging this behavior to mostly 10 to 12-year-olds who support him? Like, you can see people say stop crying or whatever, just like basic responses, instead of, trying to give a counter argument to explain why they think what Crusher's doing is justified. And I think the main reason for this is because either they're very young, or because they're unable to come up with a counter argument because they themselves know what Crusher's doing is pretty inappropriate. You can see just basic responses like ratio or whatever when someone says, why are you racist? And then stuff like, at least they're smarter than you. Anyways, this will probably be one of the last things I show to this video. Crusher himself actually replied to the tweet, and I have to say, despite what I've said this video, it was a pretty respectful reply. He didn't lash out at me or anything, and he sounded pretty honest and genuine in his response, so I do appreciate that. And he said, hey, I understand where you're coming from. Myself, I feel like I was making too many very edgy jokes. I did it because my fan base likes it, and this humor is popular right now. And I knew I went too far with the thumbnail, that's why I changed it, but I didn't mean to offend anyone. I guess, Crusher, if you end up watching this video, my recommendation to you would be just make sure you don't go too far with the, the videos and what you're saying. Because I do actually think you are a pretty entertaining guy. I actually have, I genuinely mean this, I have actually found some of your videos and shorts to be pretty entertaining, but I was just surprised to kind of see your last upload, where I just think you said some things that, yeah, were a little bit too edgy, or, yeah, I mean, kind of racist, in my opinion. So that's just kind of my advice to you. I don't want to see you, fall down the rabbit hole of continuing to get slightly more, racist and sexist over time, and then it gets to the point where you might end up getting canceled. It's clear he's self-aware. He knows that the edgy jokes or these, racist, videos and comments are, not good and they're wrong, but he's kind of saying he's doing it anyway because he knows that that's what his audience and fan base wants, which is part of the problem because he's been doing that for a little while now. That's what his audience wants and knows him by. He is young, Crusher. I believe he's only 17 or 18, but with that being said, I don't think that that's an excuse for some of the behavior he's been doing. I think he's old enough and clearly aware that some of it is certainly wrong. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you take my side or do you take Crusher's side on this situation?